So before I give my thoughts on everything that went down on OTAs and mandatory minicamp, I just want to say this. OTAs and this little mandatory minicamp, take everything you hear with a grain of salt. Everything that's positive, even the things that are negative, take it with a grain of salt because they're not wearing pads. They're just getting started. Most of this stuff is basic walkthroughs and stuff, so yeah, some players can build off of a good OTAs, in particular the young players, but again, it's just OTAs. Nothing special. Take it with a grain of salt, especially when it comes to players in the trenches. Like, you're not going to hear anything spectacular about a defensive lineman or offensive lineman coming from OTAs because they don't have pads on. So, again, take it with a grain of salt, but yeah, let's talk about some of these players and how they looked, how they performed. So the way I went about this is like ever since OTA started like a few weeks ago, I've been jotting down notes of what I've heard and I'm gonna give my own opinion on that. So D'Onta Foreman, apparently he's in great shape. I mean, I've said this before in my channel, like I've seen the Instagram videos. I'm sure you guys have seen the Instagram videos as well of Foreman working out. I think this is great for the Texans. Lamar Miller, in my opinion, he's just an average back. Foreman, before he tore his Achilles, he had all the potential in the world to be a really good running back. And it's good to see him looking good again. Last year obviously missed most of the season, came back like week 16. At that point, in my opinion, it's too late to get into football shape. So hopefully this year, Foreman can be something of value. Hopefully he becomes that rare person or that rare running back to overcome an Achilles injury. Because I've said this before, Achilles injuries for a running back, they're career threatening. Now the next thing, Martinez Rankin, he looks in better shape apparently. I think that's good. I mean, he was a rookie last year, broke his foot. I believe it was an OTA or a rookie minicamp, something like that. He broke his foot, missed all the offseason, and it's good to see him be out here in good shape. Hopefully, he can take control of that left guard spot and really help out in the run game and in protecting Deshaun Watson. Now, the next thing I've heard is Kiki QT. Apparently, he's quicker and stronger, and in my opinion, that is great. Because obviously last year, you guys know, the hamstring injury stuck around the whole year. And apparently Kiki says he's been working on, or he worked on this whole offseason, improving on that soft tissue injuries. Hopefully this year Kiki's able to play 16 games because with those few games that he played, Kiki looks like a dangerous weapon. So, especially against the Colts. He's a Colt killer. Next thing, it's just like a little tidbit. Joseph, he's taking Lonnie Johnson under his wing. I think that's good. I think if anyone can teach Lonnie Johnson anything, it'll be Joseph. I think Joseph would make an excellent coach in the NFL one day, and hopefully after he retires, I'm predicting Joseph retires this upcoming offseason next year. Hopefully the Texans keep Joseph around as a coach because I think Joseph is very smart and he can teach these players something. Now, you guys remember back in little rookie minicamp, there was a huge buzz about Kahale wearing, and that's kind of continued into OTAs. The guy's just making plays. He looks good, but again, keep in mind, this is in shorts. They ain't got pads on, so at some point, I expect Kahale wearing to have, his rookie moments, because they really can't hit him. They can't be physical with him. So we'll see how things go in training camp when the pads come on. Now the next thing is, these next two things kind of go together. It's Tyron Johnson and Vincent Smith. Apparently they both also look very good. In fact, I've heard a lot of good things about the wide receivers. And keep in mind, Will Fuller's still nursing his torn ACL. So Will Fuller's not out there. And DeAndre Hopkins is also not out there due to him nursing an ankle injury. So the Texans' two top targets at the wide receiver position aren't out there, so the Texans have to make do with pretty much Kiki QT and backups. So it brings up this. And I know I said take everything you hear with a grain of salt, but I'm worried, man. Not worried about the receivers, good for the receivers. I'm worried about the secondary. If undrafted free agents and backup receivers can tear up our secondary, apparently, or they're doing a good job on our secondary, that's a bit worrisome. But again, wait till the patch come on. I wouldn't, put too much thought into this. It's just OTAs. Next thing, Jordan Thomas also looking very, very good. Apparently, he was taking a bunch of snaps with the ones. So, in other words, Jordan Thomas will be our number one tight end next year. It won't be Darren Fells. There was a few people that thought it would be Darren Fells. There was even some people that thought Kahali Waring might immediately take over that number one tight end spot. And I'm pretty sure no one, at least I hope no one thought Jordan Akins would be that number one tight end. Now the next thing is Breann Body Calhoun, corner we signed from Cleveland on a really cheap deal, a 1-year deal. Apparently he's been doing really, really, really good playing in the nickel spot, so I think that would be ideal for the Texans to have a guy come out here and perform well at what he's supposed to do. And he could probably compete with Aaron Coleman, which brings me to my next point. Bill O'Brien just recently said that Aaron Coleman looks better, stronger, and healthier. So I think that's good. Competition for that nickel corner spot. Breann Body Calhoun versus Aaron Colvin. Colvin, as we all know, last year wasn't his best year. He was injured. And the year before that, when he was in Jacksonville in 2017, he was a shutdown nickel corner. So hopefully he can get back to that. And, we'd have Breann Body Calhoun there as well in case Colvin gets hurt again or in case Colvin doesn't perform well. And at the end of the day, both of them are going to push each other, make each other better. So that's pretty good. Now, the next thing is Jalil Ade, a guy we just picked up, safety from the Chargers. Apparently he's been doing really well as well, so that's good. And next thing, Titus Howard. Apparently he's been improving pretty quick. He's extremely athletic. He has the best feet from a Texans offensive tackle in a while. I'm pretty sure when I read that, automatically I thought of, obviously, probably Dwayne Brown from a couple years ago. Because, everyone else, you got the Breno Giacomini, the Chris Clark, Julian Davenport, Chantra Henderson, Kendall Lamb. I would take this with a grain of salt as well because, look at the linemen I just listed. None of these guys are like, oh my god, that guy's great. Besides, obviously, Dwayne Brown a couple years ago. So, yeah, a lot of people were saying good things about Titus Howard, but again, I said this earlier, take this with a grain of salt. It's OTAs and mandatory minicamp. The pads aren't on, especially when it comes to players that play in the trenches. I would take this with a grain of salt. I wouldn't bother even worrying about this, even thinking much about this, until they put the pads on this upcoming July. Now, the next thing is Cullen Gillespie. Apparently, he's extremely athletic as well. He's fast. So, hopefully what I'm thinking of when I hear this is, hopefully they make this guy into one of those fullbacks that actually do things other than just blocking. Hopefully this guy catches passes and stuff, similar to what that Niners fullback does over there in San Francisco. So, hopefully we're able to utilize Cullen Gillespie like that. The next guy I've heard good things about is Peter Colombai. Apparently he's out there, he's covering well, he's just playing well, and last year we used him primarily as a special teamer, so hopefully this year he can be quality depth at the linebacker position, because as of right now it's just McKinney, Cunningham. After them it's Dylan Cole, and that's pretty much it. You could say Whitney Merciless and Brendan Scarlett, but they're more of edge players in my opinion. So, you add in Peter Colombayi in there. Hopefully he's able to contribute there. Well, hopefully he doesn't have to contribute there because hopefully Cunningham and McKinney stay healthy. But, if God forbid one of them goes down, hopefully Colombayi can fill in perfectly. But from what I'm hearing right now is he's improving. Now, one of the things us Texans fans have been discussing since pretty much the offseason is the running back position. And just recently, actually, I believe it was Wednesday, Bill O'Brien said Josh Ferguson is most likely to win that third running back spot. That third down back, the little scat back, the receiving back. So it's going to be Josh Ferguson. Apparently, he's the favorite to win it. And if you guys don't know who Josh Ferguson is, he's an undrafted free agent running back from 2016. Initially signed with the Colts, and then we picked him up, and then the Pats picked him up, and then we picked him up again. And he's just, your typical receiving back, small guy, 5'10", 200 pounds. And that's what he is. He came from Illinois, University of Illinois, and over there he did some receiving. So I think that's good. Hopefully this guy's able to come in and hold down that third running back spot. Now, there is an issue with him that I've heard, and that's fumble issues. I believe he had, in college, he had 5 fumbles and 140 touches. So that's a big yikes for me. Now, Lamar Miller, speaking on the running backs, apparently Lamar Miller is more fit. And last year, as you guys recall, last year was probably Lamar Miller's best season, at least in terms of yards per carry. And last year, Lamar Miller made a change to his diet, and this year he's continuing that. So hopefully Lamar Miller has his best season up to date with the Texans. Keep in mind, this is a contract year for Lamar Miller, so there's a very good chance Lamar Miller is going to be trying to play lights out to get another contract. Now, the next thing, Jordan Akins. Jordan Akins, old man, drafted him last year. He's been playing inline tight end, like your stereotypical tight end, fullback and slot. They've been lining him up everywhere, so pretty much, in my opinion, they're trying to find a spot for him because, carrying 4 tight ends is tough, so that back end tight end, the last one, better be able to do multiple things if you're going to keep 4 tight ends. And, of course, you got Deshaun Watson. Apparently, he's been looking good. Bill O'Brien says he knows a lot more now. He's also more vocal at the line, I've heard. And in my opinion, that's good, getting those calls right with the offensive line so they can make the right protections, the right reads, and all that. So, yeah, that's pretty much everything I've jotted down that I heard coming from OTAs and minicamp. And, again, like I said earlier in the video, be sure to take all this with a grain of salt because it's only OTAs. Wait till the pads come out in training camp here in a few weeks or in a month. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.